The most powerful person is, of course, able to do the most harm, but also able to do the most good. When Dale Carnegie was told that he's now the richest man in the world when he sold Carnegie Steel to the consortium that bought it from him, he was told, "You're now," was it JP Morgan? Anyway, told him, Carnegie, that he's now the richest man in the world. So what did he do? Well, he took his funds and he gave the greater part of it away. This upset his competitor, Rockefeller. Didn't like being outsmarted in this way, vowed within himself that he would do better. But he had to be a winner, you see. I mean, these people have to win. So he gave away twice as much in the end. Well, that's the story. But stories mean a lot when they enshrine a truth that's everlasting. Either way, there's something lovely about these two fellows that had all the power and did their best to use it wonderfully. Thank you, Heavenly Father.
You may think that Rockefeller or Carnegie, I suppose, when they gave away their money, may have been still self-interested. And the answer is yes, of course. The self-interest, though, has shifted ground from simply wanting more wealth and power to wanting to be appreciated and valued by society. It's something that the tyrants of history typically did not manage before they died. And the use of their power, of course, made life very insecure, especially if the power harmed other people in very obvious ways and constrained them in their freedom. And you had a whole world that wanted to kill you. It must dawn at some point on the mind, on the consciousness, that been going for the wrong goals as regards the individual's happiness. So I think the story of these two titans of industry, American ones, holds the fundamental truth that the greatest desire in human nature is to be appreciated and valued. And that is your security, because our happiness turns on being appreciated and valued, admired, respected, thought well of. Because, of course, we rely on others so much for our happiness, their acceptance, is very important as regards determining their behaviour towards us. Nothing new here, is there? Just some outstanding examples of the realization of such in our culture, in our mythology almost, that makes up the fabric of our values, our enshrined values, values enshrined in our society from our history and experience. So nations reflect their current level of development of enlightenment and understanding and appreciation of their values. And if you get it right, well, you get prosperity, fruits of wisdom. If you haven't got it right yet, country's a tricky place to live in. You might rather want to move elsewhere. I think it is the case that countries in the world with an historically, at least, Christianized type of background, culture, are the nations that, the countries that people want to move to. And you can think your way around the nations that come to mind around the world, and I think see that this is true. Where are the people migrating from to in significant numbers? And it's the same with the individual. The more genuinely wise view of reality is, almost by definition, the more attractive the life that comes as a consequence. You might start worshipping power, but you must finish worshipping love, harmony, loving kindness, grace, forbearance, patience, peace, joy. And for some it takes a lot of hardship to come to this conclusion. Others seem to embrace it almost intuitively. They hear it, then they follow it. It does help, of course, if you've got good examples when you're a kiddie. But even bad examples can give you a great motivation and understanding of what's good. Thank you, Heavenly Father.
You see, everything in the universe affects everything else. It's a vast general equilibrium model. I'm not sure if there's an equilibrium. It's a living and life unfolds in a way as a disequilibrium. if there were equilibrium, it would be a stability of, in the end, no change. But enlightenment is realizing that the self is a consequence of all, that the all of things is what determines who you are. It is this understanding, this experience of understanding that extends your conception of self to embrace all else. It is the foundation of that which we trace early on in the family as one's greater self. Hence, the family of heaven, God's heavenly family, the host of heaven, its oneness and harmony is what we are preparing for. It's misunderstood that we destroy the ego. We don't. The ego expands to embrace all. That the vast numbers of variety and individualities are part of this eternally immense harmony, ever grows, ever lives, changes, ever develops. Is the joy of God, is the happiness and being of God. We find our being to be in such. And it is the ever developing and embracing oneness of being. That is the ever ultimate of heavenly experience. That we realize to be. Thank you, Heavenly Father.